But yeah, Micah Parsons, thoughts? Thoughts who won the trade? Packers easily won the trade, in my opinion, like hands down, no question.
Yeah, I would have to definitely agree that the Packers did win the trade. We were talking just a few minutes ago about having to redo our picks now for the or for the Packers and the Cowboys as far as over, under, win totals, that kind of stuff. I think Micah Parsons, we talked at one point, I can't remember who we were talking about, but someone asked, one of y'all was like, oh, well, how much does this guy move the needle, right? Micah Parsons is a guy who moves the needle a lot. I mean, I was low on the Packers, and I've gotten a lot of heat for that. I'm not going to talk about my Packers take specifically. I'm going to talk about Micah Parsons and how no matter how you felt about the Packers, Micah Parsons should move the needle for you a game or two probably. I mean, he's going to be that kind of impact player. And also, it's one of those things where the Packers, with the guys they already had on that defensive line, and I can't remember off the top of my head, they had a Michigan guy there.
Rashawn Gary.
Yes, Rashawn Gary. Thank you. They had a defensive end there, an edge rusher who was good. But now bringing Micah Parsons in and making Rashawn Gary your edge too, right? Now he's pass rushing across from Micah Parsons. That is huge. That's it's not just the impact that Parsons is going to have against the guy he's rushing, like the offensive tackle he's taking on, but it's going to be the fact that now Rashawn Gary is rushing from across. It's going to be a huge impact.
And it's not just him. Edger and Cooper was really good last year at both rushing the passer and playing linebacker. In terms of like the overall package, you can throw that up there. Cowboys are receiving 2 first-round picks, Kenny Clark, in exchange for Micah. I think the Packers, they win that trade because they gave up, for one, Kenny Clark, who it hasn't necessarily been super productive and is on an expensive contract. He gets paid roughly $30 million a year.
Already 29 as well.
So because of that, now they're going to pay Micah 4 years, $188 million. That's $47 million a year. So an extra $17 million and 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons. Yeah.
It's presumed right now we have on the screen 2026, 2027. That hasn't released yet, but I don't think the Packers have any additional first-round picks right now. So we're kind of assuming it's the next 2 upcoming 2026 and 2027. What are your thoughts, Jack?
I think it's a great trade. I called it out as a possibility about a month ago on this show.
Yeah.
Didn't see it as the most likely scenario, but it was kind of what I wanted to happen because I like the Packers because of that man's jersey hanging there behind JP of what Aaron Rodgers was in the 2010s and how fun he was to watch. And it was the perfect win-now move because it's what they've been lacking. They've not been great at getting to the quarterback in traditional rushes when they're only bringing 4 guys the past couple years. They've had more success in blitzes and whatnot. But, yeah, when they're just going to line up 4 guys and try and go after get the quarterback, they've not had guys to win one-on-ones. And Micah Parsons can do just that. I think I saw he has the most pressures in the league since joining in 2021 or whenever it was. So you just get a generational guy. I see it so often because on Twitter they've been releasing, NFL's top 100 players, and Parsons was in like the 30s. And every time I'm just like, that's insane. Like Jared Goff just got released. He's 15th best player on that list. And Parsons is down in the 30s. And I just get so mad every time. It feels like rage bait. And it works, I guess.
Yeah, that is very
that's just
rageful.
Such a bad list. He's a top 10 player in the league, in my opinion. And you get him on your team that was already good. Won double-digit games last year, and now it gets even better. So I love the trade for the Packers. Cowboys, I can't help but laugh as a Commanders fan. It's terrible management by Jerry Jones, which is nothing new. Your team was hoping to be competitive this year and look to push for a playoff spot, and now I think that really has tanked and gone out the window. I see another, sub 500 season coming, honestly, just because you lost your best player on a defense that wasn't even that great in the first place, and now it's just going to be that much worse. So, sorry, Cowboys fans, but not really.
Yeah, your trade that you had mocked in the past, it was Micah in exchange for 2 firsts, a 3rd, and a 5th, and I think arguably the Packers feel better now that it's Kenny Clark and they kept that extra draft capital, and getting off of that contract as well is going to help them a ton. Micah in 4 years, Pro Bowl every year, 2 or 3 All-Pro teams, and he's been, in terms of Defensive Player of the Year voting, second, and 3rd. So that's top 5 defender in the league, top 3, arguably the best. His impact is not only just as a pass rusher either. His ability to play He can play the Mike. He can play the Sam. Like, he can play really anywhere in that front seven. And he is, I said it when we talked about Micah and the trading, he is a player that when you step up to the line of scrimmage or you pop out of the huddle, you go find where 11 is, because he is that impactful to the game that you need to make sure that you know where he is, because he can make a play really from anywhere. I'm interested to see how it'll look in Green Bay, and I think Sanders made a great point. I think it's going to just make that Packers pass rush even better. And for Green Bay, like, it's always been kind of a struggle throughout the entirety of this guy's career, and as well even with Jordan Love in recent years, is just defensively they haven't had the pieces that can go out and win big games. They have pieces that are good for an entire season. They have pieces that are good for a couple games here and there, but especially when they got to the playoffs, there was no one on the defensive side of the field that was going to impact the game in a major way, really ever. Jair never had big playoff moments.
They did have Clay Matthews. I don't want people in the comments pounding you for not mentioning him. I mean, he was.
That was I'm
the exception.
More so, I'm speaking in the last decade. Clay, his most impactful years were pre-2015.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
Micah will immediately answer that question, and is the answer to that question. And because of that, he makes everyone else around him on that defense so much better, and so a great chance to be even more impactful. And now that defense kind of it could become a strong suit for the Packers this year immediately with Micah. You think of Xavier McKinney, you think of Rashawn Gary, Edgerrin Cooper. Like, this is going to be a Packers defense that is going to be feared. And for the Packers, I love the move as well, because think of that division. Think of where the NFC is kind of going. You need players like this to stop the offensive firepower that is the Lions, the offensive firepower that we think it's going to be in Chicago. And then Minnesota and Kevin O'Connell has never not turned out an offense that wasn't very productive. And so I think it's just going to make you more competitive in your division. Last year, Green Bay was 0-6 in games against Philly, Minnesota, and Detroit. And because of that, they were a wild card team. They ended up they were the 7 seed, and they had to face Philly and kind of got boat raced in that game. Now you get a chance to be more competitive in those games with Micah Parsons. So I love it for Green Bay, and I love the look at the future for Green Bay, a team that I was already high enough on picking them. They were already my number one overall seed in the NFC. That pretty much solidifies that take with the addition of Micah Parsons. Hopefully he's healthy.
Yeah.
The back wasn't an actual real issue. We'll see. Now I'm really interested. Did he actually fly to a doctor to get a second opinion yesterday? And that leaked photo?
Or was he flying to Green Bay?
Flying to Green Bay?
I bet he was flying to Green Bay.
I want to just address what Adam said and the Cowboys side real quick. I said it when we did our trade. We mocked up a couple trades. I said I have a lot of faith in Jerry Jones, and that faith is that he's going to screw this up. And as we can see now, I would say he did. I think the Cowboys lost this trade pretty resoundedly. So I would agree that as soon I think Jerry Jones has screwed this up. They had 4 or 5 years ago, they were one of the best teams talent-wise in the NFL with that offensive line. Dak Prescott, they had CD, Amari Cooper, then they draft Micah Parsons, and you're like, wow, this could just be insane. And then Jerry Jones has somehow managed to botch it up. So I 100% agree that Jerry Jones has messed it up and left the Cowboys without a defensive identity probably going forward, unless they can find that, unless their cornerbacks can get healthy and Bland and Diggs, Traylon Diggs, if they can get healthy and maybe create the identity in the secondary, because it's not going to be in the D-line.
The secondary is really the only thing that can be it now with Deron Bland, Trevon Diggs, and then Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson are both fine safeties, starting safeties in the NFL, but they're going to need like Donovan Ezeraku now is going to be their best pass rusher.
And they do have a first-round pick from Texas, right? From last year, a defensive interior guy. Is that right?
Overshown? Is that what you're talking about?
No, he's not talking about Overshown.
Because he played at Texas.
Are you talking about Byron Young?
I swear they drafted a guy. Maybe I'm completely wrong.
I think you got a wrong team.
Yeah, keep going.
You might have Tennessee with T'Vondre Sweat.
Yes. No, did Devondre Sweat play at Tennessee?
He's a Tennessee Titan.
Yeah.
I
believe so.
That's who I'm thinking of. Yes.
But Ezeraku is now your best pass rusher by far, and he was
Has yet to play an NFL snap.
He's yet to play an NFL snap. Clearly, the NFL teams at least saw him as not as a potential elite pass rusher, as he was. I think he was either the 6th or 7th edge rusher off the board in the draft. And while he's got potential there, like he's not Micah Parsons, even rookie Micah Parsons. So I just don't know how that's going to work out. I think this makes, for fantasy football at least, the Cowboys like a really good pick. Like, go ahead. I think George Pickens' stock rises a ton here. CeeDee Lamb's stock rises even more because think about the Bengals last year.
They're going to have to score 30s.
They're going to have to score in the 30s to have any chance to win games. And that was the Bengals last year, and that's why Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Chase Brown were so high and so productive. And Dak, I think, is at least on the same caliber as Joe Burrow in terms of numbers perspective, being able to put those kinds of numbers up. So I think it just makes that offense. I was already pretty high on George Pickens, and now I think it's going to be even higher. They're going to score a ton of points. Are they going to win a ton of games? Probably not.